I'm TC, and this is my story. My parents never really raised me as like a Christian or anything like that. And when I was younger, I used to have friends that lived down the street from me, and none of them, like, they all went to church and everything like that. And like, I always like wondered why we didn't go, and I always asked my mom, but she never gave me like a real explanation. She just kind of like brushed the topic off. And I knew that she was raised Catholic, but I mean, I always wanted to go to church, you know, but they never, like, we just never went. It's about 5th grade, my parents got divorced, which made it really hard on my family. Finally, my mom got remarried, but by the time like they tried to like inflict rules on me, it was too late, and I'd already been drinking and doing drugs, and like it got so bad to the point where like I came to school with my best friend like under the influence, and we got expelled. And like that's when it really hit me, like I need to change. And like my mom grounded me and like everything like that, and I thought about God, and you know, but I really, like, back then I just couldn't, like, I couldn't think of anything. Like, I didn't think that there was anything out there, and like, but I started to like read the Bible a little bit, but it never really clicked. And my sophomore year rolled around, and I started to date this guy, and I started to make not necessarily the same choices, but like different choices that weren't right. And like I stopped drinking, and I stopped doing drugs and smoking, but I kept making bad decisions still with him. And like finally he moved away, and it felt like, you know, everything that was being put in my life kept being taken out of, and like everything was taken away from me, and it was like taking a toll on me because I felt like everyone had abandoned me. My sister had moved out, my dad had moved away, my boyfriend had moved to Florida, and I wasn't allowed to see my best friend because of the choices that I'd made. And that summer, my friend had taken me to New Spring. There was this story on this woman, and she had been like raped. She didn't even know how many times she'd been raped, and she's been abused, and she had been doing drugs and everything. And like I sat there and I thought, like, you know, if Jesus can take her and like take her into his heart and forgive her, then he can forgive me for everything that I've done wrong. And I accepted him as my savior. I started hanging out with the right people. When I was in middle school and going into high school, I thought that like the only way that you could have fun and like do stuff is like to go out and party and all that stuff. And when I became a Christian, like Hayden took me, and Carly and all those group of girls that I hang out with, and Kelsey Lobine, they took me under their wing, and they like showed me that like we can have fun without going out and like drinking and get trashed every weekend. And like they just showed me like a different way of life. And like ever since then, like it's just been great, because quiet time with us is just a time that we sit down and we read our Bible and we get closer to Jesus. I chose to get baptized because I wanted to publicly commit my life to Christ, and I felt like it was the right thing to do, like for all that he could give to me. And I just wanted to like wash everything away, everything that I'd done wrong, and I just wanted to become new again and just show everyone like what Jesus can do for me. Ever since Christ came into my life, I just feel like a totally different person, and like that burden's been taken off my shoulder. Put soccer and everything before Christ, and now that like I've accepted Christ, I'm like I gotta go to church. I have to go work with the children's ministry. And like my mom's not a Christian, so she doesn't understand a lot of this stuff. So I would get mad when we'd have soccer tournaments, and I'm like, I'm mad because I can't come home and I can't go to church because soccer like takes up all my time during the week, and it takes all my weekend times up. And like now I finally I'm always like, I have to go to church. Like I've constantly like wrapped my life around soccer, and everything I did was with soccer first. I mean, school didn't even come first to me. I could care less about school when I was younger. Everything to me was soccer, 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 and I regret it so much. That was my main priority in life, and like now I look at it and I used to think like, oh, I have to play college soccer, I have to do this, I have to do that. And now I look at it and I'm like, yeah, college soccer sounds fun, and I'm probably gonna do it, but it's not gonna be the reason why I choose where I go to college. Soccer is second in my life, maybe even third or fourth, but Jesus is number one in my life. And since I've come to realize that, my life has become phenomenal.